Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and welcome back to Best of the Month, where we are going to tell you some of our favorite new discoveries and why we liked them so much over the previous month, of course. So, my favorite new game to me over the previous month is this one right here, Pioneer Days. I really enjoy the look, the setting of the game, and I like the way it works, the mechanisms. There's a lot of places you can gather points from, but they're all fairly straightforward. It's easy to understand, easy to figure out what you want to go for. All the avenues are interesting, and the central mechanism, this idea of rolling a bunch of dice and then drafting them and doing actions with those dice, I really enjoy that. So this is a fun one. I'm a big fan of Matthew Dunstan. He's done a few games I really enjoy, and so this is another one I can add to that roster. Very cool, neat theme, as I said, and I really just have a couple of nitpicks with the game overall, which are no big deal at the end of the day. So, Pioneer Days is my pick for Best of the Month.
Hello, and my pick for the month of April is Meeple Circus, designed by Cedric Millet and published by Madigo. This is a 2 to 5 player game in which you're stacking meeples and various other animals in different positions to score the most points. The reason why I like this game is if you're like me, you teach a lot of games, and one of the most annoying things for me at least is when I'm trying to teach a game and I look over and people are actually stacking their meeples on top of each other and not really paying attention. Finally, somebody has designed a game centered around that. Well, my pick for the month of April, Meeple Circus. Check it out.
Hi everyone, my best board game of the month has to go to Fallout. Now, I love the video game franchise. I maybe have too many hours on them. So I was skeptical when they were going to release the board game. I finally got my hands on it and I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the way the quests, sort of some of them, you're forced to do a certain thing if you've got a super mutant and the super mutant trait, or a synth, or if you're a ghoul, you're vilified, you're idolised. That can sometimes force you into doing something or open a new door to you. I've really loved how that is. And while the points, sort of, the victory points sucks, for me, Fallout or even Bethesda games as a whole, they've always been for me about the journey. What you find along the way from point A to point B, and not necessarily when you get to point B. It's all those intricacies, the experience in that area that I've really enjoyed. And actually, most of the time, someone will win and we'll go, alright, let's just carry on to see where this quest goes. So, for me, the best game has to have been Fallout. It was an easy pick for me. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.
My game of the month is Space Base. Now this is a fairly simple game really, but I like it a lot. It's the die rolling mechanism that's seen in many games, starting with Catan, but very popular with Machi Koro. I think I like this game the best in that genre so far. While Machi Koro can sometimes feel sparse when you roll dice and see what happens, and the Kingdoms of Valeria felt like you got too much, this beats a really nice barrier and has a great amount of replayability. Every time the spaceships are different, I'm getting stuff on my turn, and on your turn it might be different. There's just different ways to set things up. There's even a card that if you pull it off, you can win the game with that. It's just really fantastic. I like it a lot. Space Base, my game of the month.
Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and my favorite Unity game of May was Tokyo Highway, which is a 2-player dexterity game that actually has a lot of strategy. The game is you're building a highway, each player builds their own highway, and you're trying to cross over or under the other person's highway and be the first road to cross over under each road section to get points. You're building them out of these popsicle sticks and cylinders, stacking them on top of each other, and it ends up being a really convoluted highway, and it looks really neat on the table. But there's a lot of strategy in trying to figure out where to build your road so that it will be able to cross over under the other person's road, and you can also cross back over your own road to prevent the other player from getting the points. It's a lot of fun, and it looks really neat. And it gets hard to not knock over the pieces, because if you knock over the pieces, then you lose things. So that's why Tokyo Highway was my favorite Unity game this month.
Hey there, I'm Jason Peacock. My game of the month, best game, Orleans, by far. Wow, what a game. I'm late to the table to get this played. But if you don't know, it's essentially like a European deck builder, but instead of a deck of cards, you've got a bag of workers, and you're drawn from the bag, and using different combinations of workers to do different worker placement actions on the board, or new buildings that you buy. It's such a clean, tight, very easy to learn game that I can't get enough of. I've already played it 4 times in the last week since I got it. My wife loves it too. And I've got the Traders and Intrigue expansion on the way, thanks to some recommendations on the Dice Tower Facebook group. Also, for those that might know, maybe you can answer one of my 2 questions here. First of all, how does Altiplano compare to Orleans? Is it an advancement? Is it better? Is Orleans the one to get? And why is there a limited amount of money available in the game? I don't mind that there is, I just want to figure out why. So let me know in the comments below if you know those. Thanks everyone, see you next month.
Hello there, my game of the month is actually an expansion. It's Role Player, Monsters and Minions. I think this really added some flair to the game. The idea that not only you build your character, but that, you know, instead of buying a card, you can actually fight the minions and get XP points, and also you know, creating that expectations to fight the boss in the end. I think it really made the game so much better. I really love Role Players, and I think it got a much better game with the Monster and Minions expansions. See you guys next time.
Hey folks, best of the month for me in 2018 was a game from CMON called 13 Clues, a deduction game where you're trying to figure out your person, place, and thing, and you're using a little scratch pad where you're knocking off clues and you're asking people at the table about what cards they can see, because you can see what your opponents are trying to figure out, and you have 2 hidden cards behind you. It's a great little deduction game, plays relatively quickly, and I've had a great time playing it. See you next month.
It's Rick Candy from Epic Gaming Night, and my best of the month is Thanos Rising. This is a little dice game that's pretty easy to play, where you're rolling dice and trying to get specific symbols to be able to gain units and fight off Thanos' minions. And all the while, Thanos is turning around and attacking the different heroes and characters and damaging them, while also trying to collect the Infinity Gems, and if he gets those, he gets special powers. I really enjoyed this game because it's got that Marvel theme, and I'm a little bit of a Marvel fanboy, love all the movies and stuff like that, and love the comics, so it definitely fits in my wheelhouse of games that I like, and it's cool to have a light cooperative version of this style of game, so that's why Thanos Rising is my best of the month. Check it out.
Hey friends, Chubby Meeple here with my best of the month for May 2018, and that honor goes to Steamrollers from designer Mark Garrett's, published by Stronghold Games. Roll and write game, a little bit different than your typical roll and write where you're rolling dice and crossing off numbers. This one you're actually using the dice to build train routes and deliver goods from one city to another. Plays 1 to 5 players in about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Fantastic game, the bright colorful boards, the replayability. This will probably be one that I'm going to laminate some sheets so that I can make it even ultimately more replayable, and I'm not throwing a bunch of paper away, but if you've not played Steamrollers, check this out. This is a fantastic game, probably my new favorite roll and write, at least for the moment. We'll see what 2018 has to bring in the roll and write category. I know it's hot, but again, Steamrollers, my best game of May 2018, and until next time, keep gaming, friends.
And that's going to do it for this installment of Best of the Month. Thanks everybody for tuning in and checking this out, and I hope to see you again in 1 month's time for some awesome new discoveries. Have a good one and take care.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.